everybody, it's Lilac. So today we are gonna be doing story time. So you guys know how I said like in the past stream that I was going out of town for something, for an event, and I was gonna see if I can somehow get videos and like things like that. Well, copyright, literally everything would have been copyrighted. I kid you not. The music was so loud. I would like the way where I was sitting at the event, there I'm not even joking. There was like speakers that were like right above me. So like everything would have gotten copyrighted and then the whole entire video probably would have gotten copyright striked and then I didn't want to go through that. So instead, we're going to go ahead and talk about my fun experiences that I had during this event. Yay! So, first things that I want to go ahead and say is that this basically started on Friday, so I kid you not. I basically left class, packed everything up, like drove an hour back home to then pack up again to go to this event, which was happening in a state next over, which is Indiana. So, and more specifically, Indianapolis. So, of course, it's like an hour and a half ish drive, give or take 2 hours, kind of just depending on traffic and whatnot. So basically, me and my family go ahead and travel over there. So that was fun. Thankfully, the weather cooperated with us on our trip down there because we weren't really sure what to expect. Weather wise, even though it's literally a state over, you never know what the weather is in another state. So with that being said, from there, then we go ahead and get to our hotel, unpack, everything like that. And it was interesting because we were just sitting in the hotel lobby, and my brother just I don't remember what my brother was commenting on, but we were basically talking about what we were wearing to the event. And because the event is practically rodeo, more specifically professional bull riding, a lot of people wear a ton of Western wear, and of course, that's what I was dressed in. I was dressed in Western wear. So, of course, my brother made a comment on it. I don't remember what the comment was, but it was interesting because then, like, we ended up talking about specific styles of boots, more or less work boots, not those like prima donna fancy looking boots or whatever they're called. I don't even know if they have a name or what. I just am like, oh yeah, those fancy boots. Yeah, no, I'm talking about like hardcore like work boots. So basically, and I was basically commenting on mine because I were kept wearing mine to school because again, I go to school and there's a farm next to my school, and every now and then for class I have to go to said farm. And the last time I was at the farm, it was muddy, rainy, and I had to work in the pens. So my shoes were already like a filthy mess. So I was in general just trying to find a place to go ahead and get some of that off so that I'm not tracking dirt like everywhere. But apparently, the hotel didn't have one outside of the front entrance, which was kind of shocking. And then we found out that where it is, it's on the side of the building. So we're just like, oh. So at that point, I was like, okay, well now I know. Um, but we ended up having some friends that went with us, and so we all ended up going to Cracker Barrel for our dinner. I know, right? It's like a fantastic time when you go to Cracker Barrel on Valentine's Day. Like, that's crazy. So we go to Cracker Barrel, we go ahead, eat our food. I basically go ahead and snoop around the store because it's Cracker Barrel. I kind of have to go snooping around a store because you never know what you'll find. Um, and of course, while I'm snooping around the store, I don't know how this came to my mind, but it somehow did. But I don't even remember what I was. Oh, yeah, I was looking at bedding. I was literally looking at bedding. More specifically, quilts to go on top of said beds. Um, and right then and there, my brain just went, I didn't bring my earrings that I had for the specific outfit. So of course, because of that, then of course I got upset. And I'm like, okay, well, they're at my dorm, so like there's nothing I can do about that now. So of course, thankfully I had a backup pair of earrings that I was gonna wear with a different outfit. So I just ended up wearing it for both outfits and it worked out pretty well. So then we go ahead and take our lovely drive downtown to Indianapolis. That was a hoot and a holler. Um, I think it was more interesting because when we got there to the parking garage, we were like, oh, this is actually pretty close to the venue. And like all of us are like, this is a pretty good parking garage. Um, and of course, my dad, being my dad, was like, it's $30. I'm not paying $30. And we're like, it's literally like a one time payment. And you can stay there for like 6, 7 hours. Like, you're like, it's gonna be fine. Because I'm not gonna lie, each PBR event typically lasts about like 2 hours to like 3.5 hours. Typically, just because of a lot of different factors. So you're including rerides, you're including medical updates, you're also including the animals that you have there and making sure that they're also like perfectly fine and whatnot, as well as the humans. So there's like a ton of factors um, into that specific thing. So from there, then we're like, okay, let's go ahead. We're going to go and get in, go ahead and snoop around and everything like that. So, of course, me being me, I'm like dressed like super cute and like everything like that. And of course, it's Valentine's Day and I'm literally single. So I'm just like, I wonder what could happen if I dress up cutely. um, yeah, I'm still single and it's like 2 3 days after Valentine's Day, so I'm still single. Anyways, from there, then me being me, we get some pictures and whatnot, and of course, I'm also a rewards member for PBR events because I go to at least like two major events per year, which is honestly which it's honestly a lot. Especially if you make it to like more than just like one event. Like it's a lot. So of course I went around, got my points from everything, and of course, like when it comes to the points, you have to like kind of visit certain venues like around the main level to kind of go ahead and get those points. So of course, I went to Kubota, Cooper Tires, U.S. Border Patrol. I went to the typical PBR rewards like stop point, and things like that. There was also like Cabela's and Boot Barn and like I believe there was like two others, except they weren't related to the event. They just kind of were there. One was for a car, and then one was Morgan and Morgan. So, yeah, you had those. And so we did. So I go ahead and run around there, and I go ahead and like seek out the merch because typically it's not on the first day where I get merch. It's always the second day I get merch. So I go ahead, snoop around to see the merch, and I'm like, okay, I know what I want. So at that point, and I'm by myself at this point. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna go ahead. It's like a half hour before the event truly starts, so I'm gonna go ahead, get myself a drink, and go ahead and do whatever before I get back. So I get back, the event hasn't started. It's like 5 to 10 minutes before the event starts, and of course, like we're just kind of seeing who's going to be sitting next to us and everything like that, because like you never know. And of course, for me being me, I'm like, all right, the people that are next to us, this is going to turn out well. Well, apparently it's their first time attending a PPR event, as well as our friends. So, on one side of me, I have our friends asking a bunch of things about the event and like what's happening like and everything like that. Then you have the other side of me who the people were like, I think this is what's happening, I think what's this is what happening, I think this is what happening. And then of course then the person that was sitting next to me is also within that group, and he overhears my conversations and he's like, oh no, this is this is what's happening. And then he'll like lean over again and like, this is what's happening. And I'm like, okay, you don't have to like overhear my conversation. I mean, at the beginning of the event, they typically ask who's a veteran, who's new, and then they go over this little thing called PBR 101, which is basically like the basic rules that you need to know for the event, which is rider holds on for 8 seconds, has to have their hand in the bull rope in order to count, and buck offs are when they fly off of the bull at a certain time period, what um what is considered a monster ride, which is basically 90 points and above. So there goes through all that stuff at the beginning, and then the event starts. We do Star Spangled Banner prayer. We see that really cool intro shot that they do. That's super amazing. Um, and then also, I'm gonna have the 2 live streams during these days that did happen. I'm gonna also have those linked down in the description below, so you guys can watch them if you feel like it. Also, congrats to PBR for passing 1 million subscribers. Like, good job, guys. Good job. Like, support the community. Anyways, so we do that, and the first night's like always like one of those nights where it's like the beginning. So you see a bunch of people ride and it's super exciting. You get like the hype and everything up. And what was even more funnier is that I don't know how or why this happened, but I was running on Valentine's Day. I was running on 2 hours of sleep and a soda with a little bit of food. I'm not that insane, but like I ended up running on 2 hours of sleep and some soda. So I was like caffeinated to stay up, but I also had like sugar rush going on. But the thing with me is that if I drink sugar, it typically makes me fall asleep. So this was like a complete opposite effect of what I typically get. So everybody was like confused on like why I was acting the way I was, but it literally was because I had a sugar rush because I just had a soda and I was already excited and pumped up for the event. So I ended up going a little crazy when it came to karaoke time during the event, which is basically they play a song, they pause it during like a certain moment. Like for this moment, they did Living on a Prayer. So like they'll play a portion of Living on a Prayer, then a break where everybody would like still continue to sing. Then they'll pick it back up to where it continues on, and then like they'll cut it off again and everybody's singing. So it's basically kind of like that kind of scenario. I wanted to get a video of that, except Living on a Prayer is kind of copyrighted. So we basically go ahead and do that. It was honestly super fun overall. They had an extra event after like your typical event. So they did this thing called teams. So with that, there are, I believe there are like 12 different teams now. But basically they go head to head to each other. So they're all in a team. So all scores are combined and whoever has the most points basically wins. That's basically really what it is. So we go ahead and watch that, and that's the end of the event. So cool, we're good. Everything's happy and daisy. So that was day 1, which was Valentine's Day. So honestly, Valentine's Day, I had a pretty good job. I mean, the card right there, all I really did was just like, other than like listening to music or just like on YouTube like I normally am, I was actually watching my favorite Valentine's Day episodes from Ask the Sonic Heroes because I'm a Sonic fan, and I basically was like, I'm just gonna watch this because it's funny. And then, of course, like halfway through those videos, I was like, I need to watch the Sonic movie because that came out 5 years ago on Valentine's Day. So then I go ahead and watch a little bit of that. So honestly, like I was in my zone. I was happy. So then Saturday comes along. This is where a bunch of things just happened and we have no idea why it happened this way. So first things first, it's Saturday, and of course because of me just being like no sleep on Valentine's Day, I like slept like for such a long time. Um, but we ended up going to a museum in Indianapolis for one of our presidents, our late presidents here in America. So we go ahead and tour this house. I mean, it was raining and cold, so of course for me, I'm like, please let it be inside. And thankfully it was. So I was happy about that. But the But the thing with me is that I'm not a history buff, I would say. Like, yes, I like my history, but like, if it comes to like there's certain history that I like more than others. And so because of that, I was like interested yet not interested at the same time. So either way, it was like really cool, like overall seeing the house and whatnot. And honestly, I really liked the tour guide. Like, I kid you not, like he was cracking jokes. He knew what he was talking about. Like, he was very knowledgeable. Um, and he always likes talking about things that like nobody would expect. Like, for one of the things, he said that one of the daughters that lived in the house, there's this like railing. Well, so it's like a 3-story house. So basically there was a railing from the 3rd story to the 2nd story, and then a separate one from the 2nd story down to the 1st. Well, he basically was like, oh yeah, so like one of the daughters always, like when nobody was home and it was like just like them and like the servants or the tutors or whoever was there at the time, she would just slide down it and like not have a care in the world. And I'm like, yeah, that sounds like that sounds like a reasonable thing to do. I mean, you're a child and you see a handrail. Why wouldn't you do that? But either way, the tour was really cool and everything like that. I am sorry if I'm coughing everywhere. I'm kind of dying, apparently. Anyways, so after there, then we're like, all right, it's time to go ahead and go for dinner. So this is like middle of the day, basically. So we go to the restaurant that I suggested because, of course, when it comes to planning things, I'm like, oh yeah, let me help with planning. So I basically planned where we got to eat that night. And so this is where things go extremely weird and wrong. So we get to this restaurant, and of course, they're like, oh, we'll have a table ready for you here soon. And we're like, okay, well, we're just gonna go ahead and sit at the bar and grab something to drink. Are we good to do that? Because typically, most restaurants, if you have like a wait or something, they will typically allow you to go to the bar to grab like a drink. And of course, because me and my family don't drink, we're like, all we really want is like a soda. I specifically wanted iced tea because it was a southern restaurant. I was like, give me some iced tea. So basically we do that, and then like about half an hour, like 40 minutes later, they're like, your table's ready. And so, they give you the menus, and then like they have like the like non-alcoholic section of the menu. You guys know how that is? Yeah. And of course, because I'm like, I want a fancy drink. And oh, they're non-alcoholic drinks. So I go ahead and order one. And I'm pretty sure the server was new. She did a really good job, but like I'm not like making this like a complaint about her. Like, she was new, but she kind of knew how to do her job. Like, you could tell that she knew how to do her job. But because I could physically see that they were making this drink at the bar, I was seeing to make sure that they didn't put in any alcohol in it and everything like that. It wasn't until she came back with it where I was like, I started getting suspicious about something. I'm like, so of course for me, I'm like, this was non-alcoholic, right? And she's like, you wanted non-alcoholic? And I'm like, yes, I showed you on the menu. I showed you where it literally read non-alcoholic drinks, and I showed you what I wanted. What? Like, what happened? So of course, then my mom made a joke about like years ago when we went with another family, actually my brother's girlfriend's family, out to dinner, and her father, who's not a drinker, ended up drinking sake because he thought it was something else. So basically, because of that, I was like, I basically cracked a joke about it. I'm like, so do I have like a similar story now? Like, did that happen to me now or what? Like, so So thankfully the manager was like, yeah, that's not how that was supposed to be made. Let me go ahead and get you something different because that is not how that was supposed to be made, considering that I also told the server to come back here to let you know that that was not available. So I was like, okay, just give me some soda water and some syrup. Like, just give me something different then. I'm like, because, like, for me, I wanted a fancy drink, but, like, at the same time, like, that's not what I asked for. like, like, I didn't ask for that at all. Like, why did you give it to me? But anyways, like, everything was honestly pretty good and fine by it. But of course, my mom leaned over to me and she's like, we would have had a fun time. You would have had a fun time at the event tonight. And I was like, I probably wouldn't have had a fun time. I probably would have been, like, in the bathroom scared. like I probably would have been in the bathroom scared out of my mind. Because I personally don't drink alcohol. I hate the smell of alcohol. Like, it makes me, like, anytime I smell like alcohol or anything like that, I, like, feel like I need to throw up. Like, I can't, like, smell it at all. So, of course, because of that, like, I'm like, yeah, it would have been a very fun time. But, anyways, so we go to the event, and, like, everything like that. There was like a problem. I'm not going to specifically say what problem it was, but there was a problem, and of course my parents went to go take care of said problem, which left me, my brother, and then our friends sitting in our seats for the time being. So of course we were like, okay, yeah, blah blah blah. And we're just, chatting and talking and basically showing what we bought at the merch store when we got there and everything like that. And then my parents come back, and then all of a sudden, my dad's like, I don't have my credit card. And I'm like, what do you mean you don't have your credit card? You had it on you, like, before. What did you do with it? And he's like, I left it at the restaurant. See, here's the thing about my dad. If my dad forgets something at a restaurant, it's typically with the receipt that he gets at the end of a restaurant, not his credit card. So I was like, so you basically did the exact opposite. You grabbed the receipt, but not your credit card. And he's like, yeah. So, and of course the restaurant was not that far away. So he's like, I'm going to go ahead and exit, grab the card, and then come back. So we're like, okay, you're going to miss, like, a couple things, but, like, it's not going to be that much. So, of course, we go ahead and watch the event. He gets back there. And so we're watching the event. Now, typically, your round twos and championship rounds, you're not going to see as many people ride. So, because of that, me and my family kind of knew what to expect. We had to let our friends know that, like, hey, it's probably going to be a little bit more exciting, but also a little bit more scary, because not many people ride in these rounds, and typically this is when the most injuries happen. Well, just to say we were correct, considering that not one but two people got run over by a bull. One person went airborne because of a bull, and one person almost got trampled by the bull. So, it's bull riding. It has risks. So we basically go ahead and, like, watch the event, and the event basically happens kind of like the night before, except not as many people riding. There were a couple monster rides though, which were very nice. So overall, the event was, like, really fun time. Saturday was not how we expected it to go, at all, but I do think it was a little funny, considering that that not only did, like, it, like, rain and everything like that, just cause, like, a bunch of chaos in general, because all of us ended up being cold and whatnot, and then stuff happening before at the restaurant, and then stuff happening during the event. Like, everything was just chaos. So we weren't expecting Saturday to go as planned. But then we get to Sunday, the day we're leaving. So I don't know how. Well, yeah, I don't know how, but I was looking at the weather and I'm like, guys, it's supposed to be snowing apparently. Is this going to be a problem at all? And of course my dad's like, no, we're going to still, like, leave on time. We're going to do everything correct and whatnot. So, and by the time I wake up, I'm like, okay, what's happening? What's going on? And I'm like, there's white stuff outside. When did that get here? And my dad's like, I don't know, sometime in the morning. And I'm like, so helpful. So of course we're going to pack things outside. Yeah, we didn't know how bad the impact of snow would be in Indiana because it's a lot different here where I live. So we go outside and immediately, I'm not even joking, immediately I fall on my face with a bunch of stuff in my hands. I just fall on my face and I'm like, yeah, yeah, I'm glad that we're gonna be in a car for a while because I was like, if I'm falling on my face, that's like already like a no no. But then we are like, okay, so thankfully salt trucks and everything would be out. Like that's what we were thinking. Yeah, no, we turn onto the interstate and like you're literally playing the game of what lane am I in? Am I creating a lane? Am I in like somebody else's lane? Like what's happening? So of course that was like the whole entire trip home. And of course the whole entire trip home was also me commenting like, we're in Narnia. Where are the beavers? Where's Mr. Tumnus? Where's the wardrobe? So of course, like, even though there was literally a snow apocalypse happening outside of our car windows, it was funny just kind of going like, oh yeah, we're in Narnia. Where are these characters? So overall, it was a very fun, eventful day. I enjoyed it so much. I cannot wait to actually go back to another event here soon. And yeah, so I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time with me. Just saying, I'm just saying, I'm not like going like finding things that were wrong within this story. So I'm not saying that there was anything wrong with the event venue, with the incident that happened, nor am I saying that there's something completely wrong with the restaurant that we went to either. I'm just basically saying this is basically what happened, and it was kind of funny and interesting. So because of that, like it was a very interesting time, and now I have a couple of stories and basically saying, oh yeah, somebody almost gave me alcohol even though I said I don't do alcohol at all. Like, but anyways, it was just an overall fun time. I enjoyed it. Our friends enjoyed it. Like, and I can't wait to go back to another one. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed this little story time video with me just sitting in a hammock. If you guys want to, go ahead and leave a like and comment down if you ever went to a rodeo or a bull riding event, or if you just have like other crazy stories that you would like me to know about, because you never know what happens when you're doing like a day weekend trip. um, and then don't forget to subscribe. So if that subscribe bar is red, make it gray. And I hope you guys have a fun and fantastic rest of your day. And this is Lilac saying be sure to like, comment, and subscribe.